So let's keep going with this.
I think for us, I'm a federal employee, and so our biggest problem, and from a very small agency, and so the biggest problem I would have would be trying to get out of the mission statement sort of thing. So being able to cross over from just doing whatever is in your particular mission, AI doesn't necessarily fit in with planning, architecture, and urban design. And so if you're not going to have a champion in your agency who's going to buy into it, what can someone do in the federal government to make sure? I think the emerging technology group is sort of moving in that direction, but there's got to be a way to reduce the amount of red tape and policies that are in front of being able to try new things and things that don't necessarily fit into the agency mission in order to make it work. So AI is not something that's going to fit into every agency's mission, but it's something that can help every agency. So how do you make it work?
Thank you so much, Kenneth. All right, who's up next?
Yeah, I think, one of the most interesting things that's been, for me making the transition from being a federal employee to being, a contractor is I feel like almost like we need more freedom to fail. We need more ability to go out and try things that aren't necessarily that are, the metric of success isn't necessarily success itself. I guess it'd be more lessons learned type of frameworks for investigating these technologies.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Riva, what's going on?
Yeah, so I agree with the democratization. I mean, I think that's probably the gap right now. I remember when I was running a very large technology organization in the private sector, and I was the kind of head of technology. And the best eye-opening moment, and this is probably a year or two after AWS came out, was we talked with one of our marketing guys on a project, and he's like, I don't need you guys. And we're like, well, you need us for everything. Of course, we're important. And he's like, nope, I spun up something on AWS, I just did it myself. And that was eye-opening, but it was awesome in the sense that, AWS and these cloud providers have abstracted, to a level where you know what you have and you know what you want, and they provide tools to get you from A to B. And I think for AI, those tools will come, and it'll get to the point where you don't need a data scientist. What Tableau has done in, data analytics, visualization, you'll see that, and it's sooner than you think.
All right, thank you. And last but not least, of course, we have Dr. Marilyn Miller, not Dr. Ruth. That would have made a much more crazier panel. Next up from Act IACT. Carol, write that down. We'll do it.
I think we at the National Institute on Aging are at a lucky spot right now. But looking across NIH and, academic institutions in general, I think that the problem is that the public and the infrastructure at NIH is pretty stodgy. And for my part, when I broke the news that we were doing this project to our advisors for the sequencing panel, or sequencing project, it's a blue ribbon panel. It's international experts in the area. And they were furious. How come you're spending all this money on something you don't even know if it's going to work? Well, if we don't try it, how are we going to know? I mean, I really took some flack on that. So I think that there has to be successes pretty soon in other areas, and hopefully we'll have at least one success at NIH. Because it's going to be tough to get this broken through the way the community thinks, the way academic institutions are, and scientists are frankly afraid of being scooped by a machine.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I believe we're out of time for this. All right. We have one more question, if we could keep it quick, just because I'd hate to have anyone's questions not answered.
Hi, my name is Marla, and I'm an accountant, but I'm here because big data is like a very significant part of my job. Okay, we look for continuous process improvement and also for quality assurance. Okay, so different projects, but there might be 68,000, claims, that we're looking at for medical assistance. That's like one project I can tell you about. There's something else I can't tell you about, but like an auditor found like maybe a tip of the iceberg. Okay, so I was very impressed that that through AI that you found 250,000 in fraud in just 8 months. Okay, so we are finding cost recovery and we're finding errors, but not as significantly as you are through AI. Now, my question is, like right now we're using ACL software, okay, and Excel. Okay, so I mean, I realize it's kind of antiquated, but it's working better than the manual system for identifying potential errors. What is the best way to build the algorithms?
So Excel is basically the de facto standard for every federal agency for handling numbers, just period. So antiquated or not, it's ubiquitous. You can use Excel as a starting point for a lot of different algorithms. The trick is with any of this AI technology, again, it's a toolbox, and it's not commoditized in a way that makes it easy for somebody to come in and know what tool to pick. So for your specific data, you may need a wrench or you may need a screwdriver. That's where having the industry leaders and the folks who are doing this, full time comes invaluable, and they can say, for your data set, this is what you need to do. In this particular healthcare example where we did this loss recovery for them, it was a data exploration that was aided by artificial intelligence, and there were follow-on steps that were taken that also merged in other more traditional forms of machine learning, supervised learning, and document classification, natural language processing, and you can fuse all of those in for a solution. It depends on what you're trying to do with it, but I'd say I can talk at greater length after this panel. I'd love to hear what you're doing with it and give any suggestions.
Awesome, and I've got the perfect time for you to do that because we are about to break for coffee. But before you get up, when you get back, they've got the industry panel stocked to the gills with leaders in this space who are available to talk to you, and they're going to share what's going on. But I also want to plug a special treat and unique is, again, because we have the commitment to opening the doors to new people, new ideas. A group called DeCODE, it's an accelerator. They have startups working with them they're working in AI. They've never worked with government before, and they want to, believe it or not. And so they're going to be talking about what they do, pitching, sharing, and it's like Pokemon. You want to collect them all. Because again, these are the types of people that are coming to the federal space who want to provide solutions. They want to partner with you. They want to learn from you. And it starts here. And it starts in projects like that. So when they do get up here, please give them a warm welcome. That being said, enjoy your coffee. And thank you again. And thank you to our panel.
I'm a huge fan of the augmented reality.